Hello, and very big welcome to Donna Smith here on Neurodifference podcast. Donna, thank you so much for joining me and our listeners here on Neurodifference. It is so lovely having you here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Reese. I'm really happy to be involved, and I appreciate you asking me to join you today.
It's my pleasure. You have had so much experience in many areas of employment. Nurse manager in the NHS. Founder of an amazing social matters group for those with chronic disease. Could you tell us a bit about your outlook on people with neurodivergent conditions? And it would be great to hear more about your experience in areas like managing nurses in the NHS and your social matters group.
Okie doke. Well, I suppose I'll tell you a little bit about my career. So I started nursing when I was 19, qualified as a nurse. I became a single parent with my eldest son, and then worked really hard, worked my way up the ladder, and did that job for a long time, for nearly 25 years. And then I met Simon, my husband, who was also neurodiverse, but I didn't know that at the time. The very things that I found I was attracted to within him was the fact that he was very well read, he was very bright, articulate, he was funny, he used to read me poetry, he used to play me the guitar, but and he was just very eccentric, I would say. He was very eccentric. And a little bit socially awkward, but at that time, I had no idea, to be honest. I wasn't well versed in the world of neurodiversity. So yeah, we got along in our relationship and things went really well, and we've been together a long time now, over 30 years. We both decided we want to get married and have another child. So because I already had Dan, my eldest boy, and it took a long time for us to have another child. There was a few issues in between. So James is like our miracle baby. So he was born when I was 40, and he was the most precious gift in the world. We never thought we'd have a child, so it was just amazing. He joined our family, and he was incredible. Beautiful, smiley baby. And then I suppose a health visitor came to visit and said to me, I think your son isn't reaching all the milestones yet that he should. So I was a little bit concerned, but to me, he was my beautiful boy. It didn't matter to me whatever. Anyhow, he went through, he got referred to see a consultant as a little boy, he was about 2.5 then. And did various tests and investigations, and then came back to me saying he's probably got some learning difficulty and maybe some autistic traits. So just sent me away with a bit of paper, no information really. So I did cry because I didn't understand, and then I looked it up and I started to learn all about it and look for groups that could help and support me. So I joined a local support group where I learned loads of other parents and carers. And then as James got a bit older, he had another assessment, and it was very clear that he was diagnosed as moderate autism with mild learning difficulties. It made no difference to us. He's my perfect boy. He's my miracle baby. He's lovely, he's kind and generous.
And an awesome friend.
Sweet and a good boy and polite. He amazes me every day. He's taught me so much. He's taught me patience. I love looking at the world through his eyes. I worry about him sometimes because I know he's a bit vulnerable because he's a little bit too trusting. But he's got lovely social skills. He's very thoughtful. He makes the best cup of tea. He's recently in college, and fast forward, he's 19 now, in his third year in college, and I'm very proud of him. And I hope that through this experience in college that he'll find something he'll enjoy, and hopefully he can get some sort of a career out of that. The other things, I've done many different things in my career. I took a career break because I was having James and my mum wasn't very well. So after James was born, my mum sadly passed on when he was 15 months old. And I went back to work, but I really didn't want to work full time. And sadly, in the NHS, they're not great at supporting you as an employee. So I felt that they offered me this part-time job, but I ended up being too far away. I didn't want to leave my little baby. So I decided it was time for a change. And that enabled me to fight for James then, to advocate for him, to get him the right support, to get him the right school, to get his statement of educational needs. Nothing was easy from a parent care perspective in order to give James everything he needed. And all we want in the world is for us all to have a level playing field. That I want James to achieve what he's able to achieve and not to have any doors put in the way, not to have any barriers. So I'm all about advocating and really sharing my experiences in the world. Fast forward again, talk a little quickly about Simon. I realised once James, as he was getting older, penny dropped. James is very similar to Simon in so many ways, as he is with me. And then I started to think, hang on a minute, I think Simon might be neurodiverse. So we had a conversation, and he was a little bit reticent, and then he said, all right, I'll go to the adult autism service, the integrated autism service for adults. And he went through an assessment, and he came out as what you would call in the past Asperger's, but they don't use that term anymore because of its connotations. So he was diagnosed. So he's been on this journey, and he's quite young in his journey because he's 58 this year, but he got diagnosed when he was 54. But I love the fact that he can stim, and he's free to stim. We call it the chicken squat, because he loves to do it. And he does lots of little things and quirks and things. All the things, like I said, I found endearing when I met him are still there. But now he's more free to be himself. He struggled in his life, in his job. He was a mental health nurse for years. And he used to struggle going into work. And I used to feel so sorry for him because he had a lot of social anxiety. He wasn't good with eye contact and things like that. And I remember when he first played me the guitar, he had his back to me. But that was okay because he played the guitar lovely. And he used to read me poetry. And our relationship was very slow. We were friends first, and then we came together. So I'm very blessed. I've got a beautiful family. I don't like this medical model of diagnosing our loved ones. It should be a social model. Because what it does is it makes you look at what they perceive as deficits, but aren't really. And I don't like that because I think that's a very, very hurtful and negative connotations. I don't like it. So
covered it before on my podcast as well. The social model, and can I just say that there was such wonderful words about James, and can I also say to the listeners of the podcast, I know James pretty darn well through Neath Autism Hub. He's such a great friend. I can count on him if ever I need to.
That's really nice, and the same for you, Reese. You've been really good. You're a great role model for him. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, you really are. So lots of things I sort of did. I did a bit of volunteering work, and I did the social matters group, and I set that up in conjunction with a social enterprise, a friend of mine. And I worked primarily in Gun Lice then, and I came across lots of different people who had struggled with chronic illnesses and maybe were looking to do some sort of work, maybe volunteering, or maybe go back into education, or maybe eventually find a job. So we set up the group, and I would run it every week. And I helped several people during that time. I helped one girl to go into university. I helped someone to get a job, and I mentored an autistic young man. He used to come with me to job fairs, and he would volunteer in the local volunteer centre. So I felt very proud of that I was able to give back to the community in that way. And then roll on. I was part of a local group, and then we reset the group up as and we rebranded it. It's called SAN, Supporting Additional Needs, and I was initially a secretary in that group, volunteer-led group for parents and carers of loved ones with a range of additional needs. And we were trying to create a caring, sharing environment where the doors are open to everyone, and everyone was treated the same, and that if you had any worries or concerns, we could pinpoint in the right direction or use our own lived experience to help those families to grow and develop. And then eventually I became the chair, and I loved it. I did it for 5 years, and very, very proactive, worked with the local authorities, to work with education, worked with health, I got myself on steering groups, managed to get us a brilliant grant. So we were able to take all our families on holidays to Bluestones, and we all went, 28 families, and it was phenomenal. We all had a lovely weekend together, and what was lovely, we were all together. So nobody felt different or worried or judged, and we just had fun. We had barbecues, we went swimming. Oh, it was fantastic, a memory I'll never forget. So I'm very proud of that achievement. And yeah, that was really good. And then sadly, I became quite ill, as you know. I caught COVID, and I ended up on a ventilator and nearly died 5 years ago. Well, no, 2021, 4 years ago. So now I live with a tracheostomy, which enables me to breathe because my vocal cords are paralysed through probably intubation and COVID. But I remember the doctor giving me a tablet saying, leave a message for your family. And I said, I'm not leaving a message. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. You've got to save me. I said, I've got to be here for my boy. My boy still needs me. I can't go anywhere. So James was actually my driving force to get out of the hospital. And thank God I have survived. And yeah, he's my guiding light. I can't go yet. I got too much to do. I want to make sure that he's happy and he's safe and that he's independent, and all of those lovely things. And of course, meeting you, it was brilliant. You came to San and spoke to us, which was fantastic, to help our family so much. And also we went in the film together, didn't we? We did Looking Through the Rainbow.
Yeah.
James said a little bit in there.
Good times.
That was really good. And Building Blocks, he did another little film to help them. Yeah. So I try and give James all the opportunities and experiences. Never limit it so he can try something. Doesn't matter if he doesn't like it. At least if he's tried it. So I'm always trying to build his confidence so that he will enjoy the world and enjoy people. And I think his biggest thing, he just wants friends, and he just wants to socialise when he's able to, and that kind of thing. And you know, it's lovely to see the world through James's eyes, because he's not bothered about labels on clothes or expensive things, or he's not interested in that. He just wants to live a happy, healthy life. And I love that about him. I love his innocence, and I love the fact that he finds joy in the simplest things. So yeah, that's our lives really.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to just enjoying the simplest things. I'm quite similar in that quite similar in that respect, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if there were a lot of autistic people, especially in the Neath Autism Hub, um, who are like that. But that's that's just such an inspiring story, especially how you James, was your guiding light. Get off of that treatment bed and out engaging with the world. And can I also just say, a little bit biased being your friend, but the world is all the greater for
Oh,
having you and James in it.
you're a kind man. Thank you, darling.
Uh,
I think we all got to spread a bit of love. The world's not a good place right now. There's so much fear and propaganda around and horrible things happening. Sometimes you got to reclaim your space, switch off from that noise.
and produce some more good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good,
And,
that's a
and
good
it's so empowering. And volunteering is a really good place to start often with learning about how people live and different things like that. I was also involved in some of the autism movement for a bit. I became a director briefly with them for a year, and we went off to San Granog and had a great weekend there and various events. That was really good.
Yeah.
And now Neath Patolba Autism Hub. I was so chuffed when that opened because, hallelujah, something positive for our young people. So you've got somewhere you can dip in and out of when you want to, and you can form friendships, and all these new opportunities can arise from something like that. So it's wonderful that it's here. There are other groups around for families like NAS, and now there's inclusivity. So I'm always still, whilst I've stepped back from volunteering like I was, because obviously I'm not physically able to do it now, but I will still signpost and share information and talk about our story on my own Facebook, and find groups and seek out information. And I think that's really important. You never stop learning, however old you are, and just be kind to each other, really, and just go along this life journey together.
And since it mentioned like services like Inclusability and NAS Swansea branch, what do you feel as though those services can improve upon or continue doing to
I think,
so
they're not run by the authorities, are they? So they're charities or they are community groups.
that's
So
it.
a
Yeah.
lot of the things come from within the community, which is always good. I just feel sad that there's not more resources out there. Like, we created a resource library in San, where we had loads of books, loads of sensory equipment. So it would be like, try before you buy. So borrow the books if you like them, borrow the equipment, and it's just having access to things like that. Forge of our community centre is really good because it's got a library there. PLOL, Play Leisure Opportunity Library. They do similar things.
Very good.
They have just started doing young people stuff as well. James has dipped in and out of one or two of their events there. And that's quite good. He's done a bit of gardening and he's done a bit of cookery, and so they occasionally do stuff. It's £20 to join for the year. So that's useful. It's not just for young people, not just for children. But there needs to be more resources. There needs to be always more visibility. I know when we worked with Neath Patolba, Council and Social Services, they was a really active social worker at the time, a few years ago, who went around every shop in Neath to do the autism awareness course. And whilst it's very basic, and you can do it online, she went in physically and spoke to all the local shopkeepers. So it's very neurodiverse friendly in Neath because of that. So I suppose it's not just about awareness, it's about acceptance, isn't it? We want to move to fully inclusive, segregated. We're all one community. We've all got, things to offer. And I suppose the ultimate aim is that we all live together peacefully and get on, and that reasonable adjustments are made, particularly in workplaces. Because that is a big fear for me, for James, is finding some kind of work that he's able to do, providing he's got the right support to do it with. So we definitely need more of that. I know the job centre, they also came on board with our steering group when we worked with the local authorities, and they're still running that group, by the way, and they upskill their staff to become more neurodiverse aware. So there are quite a lot of disability job coaches now who have more understanding than they did. Do you agree?
It's really good. Very important. Very, very important. It's that understanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I remember a time where I was referred to a job finding service where awareness of my condition wasn't the greatest, and that was in Cardiff.
It's sad.
When I was living in Cardiff, and
unfortunately,
Reese, the right job because of it. But but I think that nowadays people are a lot more switched on, especially in Neath and Swansea.
I agree.
Especially so.
I think it's come from the ground up, though. It's come from you end up being a pain in the bum. People like me, I was very loud. I was very loud and fighting, and in the end, you have to grow this thick skin so that you can go against authorities, say no, we need this. It's all good playing lip service to something, but action is needed, and things need to be visible, and things need to be accessible for people. And we're still on that journey. I fear about education. They took away the statement of educational needs and replaced it with a individual development plan, which isn't worth the paper it's written on. So sadly, the young children coming through now, they're still struggling to get their needs met, and that is not good enough. It's not, but anyway, that's another argument. One of many,
So this this independent development plan, what is it kind of? Does it just apply for certain years?
It follows a trial. It's meant to start very young, so they're meant to pick up children with additional needs in nursery, and I think they do to a degree that is happening, but because the resources can't match the need, because obviously we're more aware and more children are being identified as having additional range of needs. You've got your plan, you go along school, the plan is meant to be followed and worked with the pupil has a say about it too, the teacher and the family. But it's not as strong as in law as the statement was. So what they've done is diluted it because they can't afford, basically, additional learning needs.
Well, what can we expect when funding's being cut?
Exactly.
Interrupting you just
no,
then.
No, it's fine. I'd rabbit on otherwise. No, you're right. And funding is being cut, and that's the worst thing that can happen. But there is only finite resources, so I suppose as a family, you need to be as informed as you can be when you're able to take that information in and try and work with the authorities rather than be negative. Although in the end, I ended up being quite negative because I was angry. But I did get my voice heard, and I got on the right groups to get some change occurring, like the autism awareness stuff. and just people being more aware, you can have somebody in an authoritative post who doesn't really understand the lived experience. That experience is far more powerful than anything you might learn from a book. Yes, a book can help you, and research can massively help you, but you really need to listen to the voices and listen to the people it affects.
Which is a massive reason why I wanted to set up this podcast and make it as big as it can possibly be, to basically relay that lived experience from the voices that mattered most. And another reason why I want set up Neurodifference, I set it up so that I could neurodivergent people could feel empowered, and how important would you say are groups like Neath Autism Hub? I will also add Spectropolis into. What an organisation!
Phenomenal they are. Yeah.
How important would you say are organisations like that in empowering neurodivergent?
Absolutely essential. They are essential, and it's great to see that. Like I say, even that inclusivity has started in Bridgend and now has come to Neath and Port Talbot and Swansea. So slowly, things are growing all around us, really. Yeah, I mean, young people need to be able to dip out in and out of different groups to understand and to feel supported and heard. And all power to these groups. I hope they continue, and I hope they grow and they diversify as well.
The impact of their work, I don't think, can be understated. I know personally that there are I have friends in Australia, in the Philippines, in the US, and I'm trying to kind of trying to get this podcast to more people in those regions, and just hopefully they can. How
interesting is that, isn't it? Because then we can all share our experience. It'd be great to get your friend. I need to start watching more, Reese. Now I'm on it. I've got no excuse now. I need to get moving.
Well, I very, very much appreciate that. Very, very much appreciate a share. But yeah, no, it's you, the life you lead and the amazing work that you still continue to do. I think I can forgive you. I know you're my friend, but I think I can forgive you for missing a few podcasts.
Yeah, but I won't be from now on. I promise you that. No, it's been really interesting speaking to you. I was a little bit anxious. I think you're worried about not saying the right thing, but being honest and real is important, isn't it?
Well, at Neurodifference, I want my podcast to be a place where you can just come on and have a conversation with about anything that matters to neurodivergent people. You can tackle any subjects, no matter how controversial. I want my podcast to be a safe space.
It is. Yeah, I can feel that. Of course it will be. It'd be great. Yeah. Thank you, Reese.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on here and relaying your amazing story. I would just like to say to anybody watching that there will be a Facebook Live coming up when this episode releases tomorrow, to kind of go a little bit more into the themes discussed in this podcast. Donna, you're a massive friend of the channel. You're more than welcome to come on at any point. I will be doing my utmost to convince James to come on with you someday. I'm thinking for future podcast topic, it would be great to one day have a panel of mothers of neurodivergent children talking about their experiences of raising.
Yeah, that'd be really good, Reese. Yeah, and I know lots of mothers and fathers, lots of people.
Great to get you on.
Awesome. Let it grow and grow, isn't it?
That's it. That's exactly it. Got huge ambitions for the channel, and of course, the more people it can reach, the more people can learn about neurodivergent conditions. Thank you, Eva. Thank